Welcome back to The Pulse. AI is creating benefits and challenges in many phases of our lives, and especially in the world of business. We all have to be smart about AI. Shawn Fair from the Leadership Experience Tour joins us in studio to talk about this. If you haven't looked Shawn Fair up, he's an incredible dynamic speaker and a leader in so many great ways. And we thank you for joining us here tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Okay, so there is deep concern. As soon as you hear artificial intelligence, if you say that in a room, either people light up or they put their heads down and go, oh, they're taking over. How do you expect people to be resilient in the face of these massive changes?
Well, I think that people have to train themselves in AI. Employees are concerned about their jobs, but employers are not going to lose their jobs because of AI. They're going to lose their jobs because of employees who have the ability to use AI. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Secondly, I think the CEOs have a moral responsibility to have a vision that includes AI and the employee. AI works best when employees are working with AI together.
That's fascinating. And so when someone hears, oh goodness, here comes AI, there's an onus on the employee and the onus on the boss. Let's take the employee for a moment. Someone who says, like for instance, in our newsroom, oh, they're going to start printing articles, they're going to start gathering news for us. Not if you insert yourself into that equation and say, no, I have a part in this. Talk about how that works in terms of resiliency.
I think that every employee should evaluate what they do for the organization and understand how AI can play a role in making them more efficient and more productive, and sometimes creating a plan for themselves and presenting it to the leadership in the organization. It puts them in a great position if they do that.
Oftentimes at this phase, bosses are asking their employees, how do you use AI? And that question, when posed, can be intimidating because the person then who's answering it will say, should I tell them how much I'm using it? But really they're looking to learn this because they want to help integrate it. What does integration look like in different industries?
Well, when you integrate the AI component, we're looking to become more efficient. We're looking to become more productive. We're looking to be smarter in doing our jobs. And so it's not something that we need to be afraid of. It's something that we need to embrace.
How then does a boss come out in terms of leadership and say, all right, we have this huge new monster, this robot that's going to take care of us in some way? How do you introduce that to employees in a way that's palatable?
Well, I think having a think tank where you're getting all the employees together to talk about how AI can be used so that they can be more efficient and more productive in their jobs. It shouldn't be something that they're afraid of. It should be something that they embrace. And when everyone is embracing it, it makes the organization more productive, more efficient, more opportunities comes from it when that happens.
I want to just kind of dive a little bit deeper into what you said about this doesn't necessarily replace employees, but perhaps enhances the experience at the end of the day. In what ways do you think that's happening, in which it's a tool in the tool chest and not kind of the monster that takes over?
Well, back in the day, right, when you had to, in other words, I had to write a long email. Right. Well, you can go to AI, put in information, just small bites and small pieces, and it writes it out for you. It saves you a lot of time. Again, it goes back to embracing the AI. It is nothing to be afraid of, but you have to train yourself up on it. And that's really important.
Which companies, and not specifically, but what kind of companies are doing it well right now? And which companies still have some catch up, would you say?
Well, I think that the oil industry, I think the industry that you're in right now is using AI extremely well. The industry that I'm in, the speaking industry, is extremely important because it's all about video work. It's all about photo work. And now it's not about getting a photographer per se, but I can get my own photos using AI. I can create my own videos using my duplicate twin with AI. There's so many different ways that we take advantage of it.
I do want to dive into that in the minute and a half we have left here about authenticity. We talk about authenticity a lot, and you are this dynamic speaker who people call and ask to come to their businesses. If you have an AI twin now that's doing videos and motivational things, not that you're doing that, but if someone does, how then does authenticity play a role in the future?
Well, let me just say this. Authenticity wins out at the end of the day because people are going to get a little tired of seeing, I don't want to call it fakeness, but let's just call it fakeness. But what I do is I integrate the authenticity and AI together. Because when I'm posting AI, I let people know this is my AI twin. But I'm also making sure that they see me and they hear me as well. So I think you have to have a mix of two, because I want people to know I am up on the times, but at the same time, I am still who I am, and I want you to hear my voice.
And if you're interviewing for a job and your profile picture on LinkedIn is AI airbrushed, It's kind of like what the kids are doing on Insta. When they go out on a date, they go up to the person that they thought they saw on Instagram, and they're like, who is this person? The bosses can think the same thing. So we have to make sure that we're not airbrushing to the point where we become robots, right?
I totally agree with that. Because what I find today is that no one looks like their profile picture.
That's right.
And it goes back to what you said earlier. Being authentic is really important. We need to know who you really are to make decisions as to whether I want to bring you into my organization or not.
That's it. I'm posting this image right here, this screenshot, as my profile picture. This is what we look like, right?
Absolutely.
Shawn Fair, great to see you. Thanks for joining us on The Pulse tonight. Come back again and talk to us.
Absolutely.
That is The Pulse for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Ruparaj, the real thing, not an AI robot. As always, it was good to be with you.
Yo.